Mindset Makeover. It's Natalie with the Think Yourself Academy. We're going to be talking about how the brain sometimes needs to have a makeover because it could be pre-wired or preset for failure, and we want to set it up for success. So here's how it works and why it matters. Our brains are marvels of adaptability. It changes and it's transformed based on our thoughts, based on our experience, and based on what we go through in life. And the more happens to you, the more you adapt and the more your brain change. It's called neuroplasticity. And this makes our mindset molding physically on our brain structures and creating the different functions. So the mindset is a concept that was first brought in by psychologist Carol Dweck, and her research in the 20th century showed that the past experiences and what we did in our past and the events that happened to us in our past will shape our mindset, and this mindset will shape our perceptions of the future and shape our behaviors. You have potentially heard, I think you have, of the different perceptions that people can have to this same event. Some people may see a glass half full, some people may see a glass half empty. So depending on how you see it is not what matters here. What I'm talking about, the point is not if you're preset to see a glass half full or a glass half empty. What I'm talking about today is our mindset and our brain, the neuroplasticity, can impact our behaviors. That means that if the glass is half full or half empty does not matter. What matters is that you can change your behaviors and just pour more water in the glass. That's what we're talking about here. It's that our mindset will shape what we will do, our behaviors. So it's not just about our perception, because at first glance, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if you see a glass half full, a glass half empty. What matters is what you're gonna do about it. So if it can shape your behavior, that's why it's really important to pay a lot of attention to your mindset, because everything that you perceive will be perceived through your own mindset, and this perception will impact your behavior. So for example, let's say you are in a meeting and Carol steps up in the meeting and mentioned that the workload is way too much and that the tasks need to be redefined because it's too much for her. She's a young mother, single mother, and there's no way that she can stay until 10 p.m. every night at work. It's just not going to happen. So after this meeting where there's different people listening to Carol with their own history, their own map of reality and everything that happened to them, what happens is that somebody leaves the meeting and tells their friend, "Oh, you should have seen Carol today. She was so rude during the meeting. She started talking about how she didn't have time because she's a single mom, and then she has too much on her task, and she's probably all disorganized." And that's the story that they perceived because they don't have children. They don't understand what it is. Maybe their value is different because they value career over family. Maybe they love to have so many things all at once because their meta program is different. And somebody else will leave the meeting and will say, "Oh, you should have heard Carol today during the meeting. Oh, it was so inspiring. She actually stepped up and said something. It's been so many years that we've had so much dumped onto our desk, and finally somebody's saying something, and she's a single mom, and I can't believe that she's been doing this all this time, and now she's finally saying something. Oh, it was so inspiring. I think I'm going to do the same. So that perception of two different people listening to Carol's stepping up in a meeting will be very different because of their own model of reality. And they will potentially have a different behavior following that. Maybe the first person that heard her, that has this achievement for their career, they may behave differently, and they might say, oh, I want more on my plate. I want a different position, and I want to be that person, that manager that will work on that task force, that will be redefining the load of everybody because I want more. And maybe the second person will be inspired to actually step up and say something as well. And depending on your perception, you will have a very different reaction. And that is why our mindset is very important. It's not just happening in our head. It does impact how we act at the end of the day. So the blog ends here for this week. And for those of you who are on the premium level, because it's something new that we are starting now, and the premium level allows you an extra step further into the blog. So for those of you who are in the extra step, you will see the 3 steps of a makeover. What are the 3 steps for a mindset makeover? What do you do? How do you change the way your mind is already assimilating the information? How do you perceive things so that you can have a different perception? Therefore, your actions and your behaviors are going to be more positive, more powerful, and more like creating the life that you want. So if you want to receive that premium level, just click on the button underneath, and then you will find the second part of that blog where we will give you the 3 steps to a mindset makeover.